can choose to,
I completely agree there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think if God were to, flat out show up to Dawkins and or just any of these mainstream atheists, I don't know. I mean, if all of them just converted, I really don't think it would be that much of a huge impact on what's going on in the world. I mean, it may save some people, but I think God's main intention is, to bring, not necessarily to bring, but have people come on their own accord. And I think that would probably violate some kind of sentiment that he has at this point. I'm not sure. I don't know, but yeah.
Well,
that's all I have.
What reason could you possibly think of that God wouldn't just reveal himself directly to everyone?
Just based on the fact that, some I could say that God has already revealed himself to everyone in certain senses. I believe...
Well, forget all the other certain senses. Let's talk about revealing himself to us. I am God.
Russell made the point yesterday on the Nonprofits, and I think this is well made, even though it's based on some amusing fiction. As Douglas Adams pointed out, when the Vogon destructor fleet shows up, they broadcast a message to everybody on Earth that is completely unambiguous, that is understood by everybody. We're sorry, but your planet's been scheduled for destruction, and you have 8 minutes, whatever. Are the Vogons more powerful than God? Couldn't God do something like that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if God necessarily would want to do something like that.
Well, okay. My question is that, assuming that a God could do something like that, which I think, at least by my previous understanding of the Christian God I used to believe in, and what I hear as far as the capabilities of God from most believers, I think that definition of God would include the ability to do this. Now,
yes.
Given that ability, my concept of God previously, and the concept of God that I hear presented by so many Christians that call into the show and write, is a God who actually has, as a desire, the salvation and love and respect of everybody.
Right.
So why, given those two things, would he not do something like that?
I think one thing I could say would be that, all right, let's say that God shows up just like that fleet or whatever, and says, gives an unambiguous, writes in the clouds, I am Jesus, worship me. And everyone comes to believe that God exists.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think necessarily that his primary concern is for us to believe that he exists. I think his primary concern is just to have a relationship with him and to...
Well, wouldn't that entail believing he exists? Why...
Yeah, certainly, but I think he cares more about the fact that we would actually, worship him. Or
but I'm fine with that.
I think believing he exists, I think if everybody believed he exists, I think that would kind of create some kind of artificial situation in which, hey, now that we know that there's a God here who's...
No. I can almost kind of make your point for you in this. If God pulled the Vogon trick, I would no longer be an atheist. I would believe that a God exists. That, however, does not mean that I would worship that God or follow his instructions or think he was a good guy or any of those other things. Now, it's possible that, much like the person with a gun to their head, that with the direct knowledge of this God's existence and the threat of hell, that I and others might claim that, but that would be absurd, because surely this God should be able to see that I'm just faking it. However, the knowledge of the existence of a God does not